sir. Welcome.
Hello.
Now?
Yes.
Live, sir. Oh,
Yes, it
okay. Great. So today we are going to share some insights on leap into unknown. Leaping into unknown. Let us understand this. We have basically two variables. One is known, the second is unknown. Unknown is that part of the consciousness, unknown is that part of psyche with which we are less identified with, which is not in the wakeful consciousness. Unknown is something which is explored only during the meditative consciousness or the Turiya state. Rajshekhar, can you put my video image on screen?
It is, sir. It is coming.
Only my screen.
Yeah. So you are in a spotlight.
Yeah.
So I'll do it again.
Keep. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, fine.
Perfect. Okay. The deeper aspects of consciousness, like the hidden part of iceberg, is not visible to the wakeful consciousness, not in sync with wakeful consciousness. The hidden part of iceberg is actually vast, unfathomable, very deep. Only the tip of the iceberg is visible, maybe 1% or even less sometimes. If we think that the tip of iceberg is everything, the way most of the people assume that what they think they are is ultimate, they miss the vaster aspect of their own consciousness, which is not available to the wakeful state of affairs. The only difference between the cynical and the spiritual is the cynical or the social or earthly fellow is that one who is identifying himself, the visible part of this iceberg, the tip of the iceberg, the known aspect of himself, what that is known, what he thinks that it is known. The spiritual or the wise man is the one who knows that the deeper consciousness is not visible, unexplored. So he identifies himself with the unknown, not with the known. We all say Maya. Do you know what is Maya? Maya is that aspect of consciousness which makes you identify with the known. As long as you identify yourself with the known, you are engulfed by the Maya. You are a victim of Maya. You have become a prey to this cosmic Maya. The wise is the one who knows and understands that there is very vast unknown. This unknown has to be explored. How we can explore the unknown is the question. Unknown can be explored only when the mind and its patterns are eliminated. So for coming 15 minutes, I will speak about this topic uninterruptedly. After that, I will take questions. Somebody is raising the hand. Rajshekhar will moderate all the questions. So you can text the questions. He will see and shoot the questions. I think that's okay. Okay, Rajshekhar?
Yes, sir. That's fine. That's fine. Please carry on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the unknown is that aspect of the psyche for which we have taken birth. Before taking birth, everything is known. There is nothing like unknown. Because you are not gravitated by the forces of resistance of the social reality. After coming to the physical plane, the name of the game is to forget first. The name of the game is to recall what is forgotten. What is forgotten is the unknown. The entire purpose of life for any human being is to recall what is unknown. Nothing else is the purpose of any human being's life. Purpose of any human being, as many people think, especially those who are into spiritual organizations, think that educating the masses towards spirituality is their purpose. Some people who are not yet spiritual but very good people, they think and assume that helping the needy is their purpose of life as per their capacity and inclination. Purpose of life is not related to what you do outside in the physical world. Purpose of life is absolutely related to what you are inside. The purpose of any human being is exploring the unknown. It is not what you do outside. Once you get tuned with the unknown, which is the reservoir of wisdom, then what you do outside is up to you, your choice. Everything that you do outside, once you are on the path of exploring the unknown, is up to you. It's a pure individual choice. But what is most common for any human being before we take up any activity in the social world is to make all the unknown known. Once, when Gautama the Buddha was traveling with his team of disciples in the forest, someone asked him, "Sir, you have been teaching us since many years, and every time you speak something very new to us, we never saw you reading anything, we never saw you gaining knowledge from any person. How are you able to teach us new things?" Then Gautama the Buddha picked a blade of grass, showed it to him in the forest, the vast forest which is visible to you right now under your nose. My knowledge is this much, the blade of grass. Very much limited, very much finite. The vast, unlimited, unknown is still visible in front of my eyes, that is to be explored. I have my challenges of exploring the unknown. The interesting point here is the more you explore the unknown, that much is remained in the unknown aspect of you. Because unknown is something which is unlimited. It is it doesn't have any dimensions. It doesn't have any limit. So the more you explore, the more you convert the unknown into known, the more it is still there. It doesn't get reduced. The more you explore, the more it is still there. That means exploring the unknown is a complete, permanent, eternal exploration. that doesn't stop, that doesn't end. It is an unending process, absolutely unending process. There is something called as unknowable. This is what the Mexican masters, the Mayan elders, talk about. Unknowable. There are few things which cannot be known. It is too mysterious, too enigmatic, too much for the human psyche. In the earth plane, it is so very difficult to understand the so-called unknowable, like the origin of cosmos. Whatever that we speak about origin of cosmos is only a theory, only a hypothesis, only an assumption, only a description. A few things are absolutely beyond the reach of any master. This category can be called as the unknowable. We are not bothered much about unknowable. We are much bothered about what is unknown. How to explore, as I told, when the mind becomes increasingly empty, we get connected to the deeper aspect of our own self. The deeper aspect, the nature of this deeper aspect is silence, absolute silence. The portal of entry into the unknown is absolute silence. Unless you are really silent inside, unless you are really calm inside, the unknown stays unfathomable in front of you. Its depth cannot be explored, it is not perceived. The mind has to be increasingly calm, increasingly silent. This is what is called as spiritual sadhana. Spiritual sadhana is a persistent, uninterrupted, continuous exploration of one's self. That is called a spiritual sadhana. And closed eye meditation, the way meditation is understood, is only one aspect. It is not everything. With closed eye meditation for 1 hour or 2 hours a day doesn't make you complete. Every activity of your life, every thought of your life cannot go unnoticed. Every feeling of you should not go unnoticed. You must be eternally aware of what is happening inside. You must be eternally aware of why you are doing what. If you know why you are doing what clearly, that means you are consciously doing everything. That type of attribute has to be cultivated. It may appear to be difficult for an adult human being, but not at all difficult for a child. The adult human being, because of so many rigid mental patterns, it appears to be difficult. It is only an appearance. But slowly, with the cultivation of certain attributes like inner calm, inner silence, he will be able to nibble, nibble, slowly, nibble, piece by piece, the patterns of his own mind. The elimination of mind is a slow process. When I say mind, it means that the conditioning aspect of you, the patternized aspect of you, the programmed aspect of you, the robotic aspects of you, the belief aspect of you, the rigidity aspect of you. That is what is called mind. It has to be slowly erased. Most of the people are very impatient. They want to immediately swallow their own mind and become empty. It is not possible. You have to be slow. Slowness is the key. Slowness is always the key. When you are not slow inside, when you are not patient inside, the mind always swings its Medusa head. It is like a thousand-headed hydra. It is a thousand-headed demon made up of your own thoughts. The enemy of mind is awareness. The enemy of mind is consciousness. So everything has to be brought into the limelight of consciousness. The mind cannot survive in light. It can survive only in the dark. So every cerebral alley, every cerebral gorge, everything that is deeper into in your brain has to be lit with increased consciousness. So that you will get deconditioned, you will get deprogrammed, you will get depatronized. That is what is called development. The word development is a combination of two words, D and velope. Velope means cover, like we call envelope. D means without that. Removing the cover is called as development. Deprogramming yourself is called as development. It is not something you add into this cerebral bowl. It is what you eliminate. When you remove this cover, that is called as development. In terms of social reality, in terms of spiritual reality. So, leaping into unknown is basically the quality of wise man. You know, the nature of hunters. The hunters always want to explore the less explored of the forest. The unexplored areas of the forest, they always want to explore. They want to bring every information, every knowledge about the forest. They want to know that. Because they want to know the deeper aspects of forests, they are very alert, traveling into the unknown areas. They never know when the disaster is going to strike. And because they know it, they are absolutely alert. They keep themselves totally alert. The master's nature is like that. He's totally alert. The common man doesn't treat unaware thoughts as dangerous. But the wise man treats every unaware thought as extremely dangerous. For him, what is trivial to common man is a very big thing for him. It's a serious phenomena for him. He cannot let himself loose and casual. If a thought comes unaware, he stops every activity, sits, closes his eyes, explores the roots of this thought. How I can be unaware? This is the attribute of a master. He cannot just. He's extremely serious with himself. No self-pity. He's brutally serious with himself. Nobody is going to punish him, but for him, that is a very serious thing. To stay unaware is a very serious phenomenon. That is the true quality of any master in the world. If you want to enter the path of mastery, you must cultivate these instincts of hunter. You must cultivate these instincts of a warrior. Every moment is like a war. Unawareness is your enemy. be it a thought, be it an action, be it a feeling, be it a recurrent, repeated activity without knowledge, whatever. So we must take the journey of exploring the unknown, and it is endless journey, eternal journey. Once it starts, it never stops. We should keep on going. Gautama the Buddha, when he was alive in the physical body, after giving his lecture, after giving his sermon, end of his lecture, he used to speak a word every time. He calls in Pali, Charai Veti. Charai Veti means keep moving, keep moving. It doesn't mean physical movement, it doesn't mean physical activity. He wants every disciple, every arahant, every bodhisattva to keep moving inside himself, to explore the unknown continuously. Even when he was on the deathbed, in few moments he is going to die, and only the mortal remains are going to be there. In that situation, when a disciple asked him the final message on this earth plane as Gautama the Buddha, he said, Appa Maddena Sampaddeta. Appa Maddena Sampaddeta, which means keep moving diligently. Not simply moving, but move with the diligence. Diligence means more conscious, more sincere, wakefully, alertly. Put together, it's called diligence. Keep moving diligently. That was the final message. The end of every lecture he spoke after getting enlightenment, he used to say, keep moving, charai veti, keep moving. Even end of his life, he said, keep moving diligently. That was the emphasis he has kept on exploring the unknown. It is a continuous affair. And it is adventurous, very thrilling, very exciting. That is the reason why the masters keep on explore the unknown. They don't keep quiet. How he explores his own unknown is not visible to people who are living with him. It is not possible. Even when the master is with 1,000 people, 24 into 7, nobody can know that he's exploring the unknown. Because nobody can see what is happening inside, what is happening to his consciousness. His consciousness is very wakeful, continuously exploring, like a warrior. Warrior cannot be unaware. Once he becomes unaware, he will be killed. A samurai cannot be unaware. Once he becomes unaware, he will be defeated. The common man sees everything as simple, casual, trivial, not really important. You will see later this type of attitude. But a master cannot develop this attitude. For him, everything is serious. Every moment is very precious. He lives the life as if this moment is not going to happen again. This moment is not going to manifest the same way again. And that is a fact. All this happens with cultivation, self-cultivation. In the non-meditative hours, cultivation, you know why it's called cultivation? Do you know that? You know, the word cultivation is basically a word attributed to agriculture. In agriculture, when the farmer uses the word cultivation, it does mean that first he has to keep the soil ready. pull out all the weeds. The master also pulls out all the weed thoughts, waste thoughts, unnecessary thoughts, and its patterns. Keeps the soil fertile, keeps his mind empty. Then sow right seeds. The master also sows right seeds. Consciously, he will select a seed and he works on his seed thoughts. The reason why the master Shiva tells his disciple Abhinava Gupta in Shiva Sutras to do something called as Bijavadana. Bija means seed, Avadana means contemplation. Contemplation on the seed thought, a selected, consciously selected seed thoughts. You sow your own seed thought, sow it, nurture it. The thoughts nurture with consciousness, not by water, not by soil, but here cultivation happens with consciousness. The more you are conscious of what you are doing, the more the seed thoughts gets nurtured. And because you have all the seed thoughts are selected consciously, you know what is happening. Side by side, whenever, as and when you see any weed thought, pluck it out. Then and there, root it out. How? By exhalation. Add an element of letting go whenever you exhale. Whenever you exhale, add an element of letting go. Exhale the entire mind into the Hara, the center of your being, just below your belly button. Exhale. Take Hara as a reference point of observation of breath. Hara is like a black hole, it absorbs. Exhalation is the key. And it properly aligns with letting go. You develop the habit of letting go. Exhale. Exhale the head into the Hara. This is a way you empty yourself. This is a way you know the differentiation of real conscious thoughts and weed thoughts. All the weed thoughts are unconscious thoughts, patternized thoughts, habitual thoughts. All these are weeds, recurrent, repetitive thoughts, unwanted, uninvited thoughts. All these are weeds for the psyche. Blocking the path of the mastery, self mastery. These need to be carefully plucked out by way of exhaling them into the center of your consciousness, otherwise called as the Hara. I repeatedly say Hara is not a technique. Last Sunday also I spoke that Hara meditation is not a separate meditation technique compared to multitude of techniques that are available in the world. It is not that. Hara is something which happens with any meditation method, whatever meditation method that you practice. Finally, you sink into yourself. When you sink into yourself, you find your center. You find or experience the convergence of consciousness. When the convergence of consciousness happens, you feel yourself lying in the lower belly, viscerally, internally, just below the navel, like a ball of fire, like a ball of consciousness, like a fire of consciousness. Into that, you have to empty your head. That's why masters call it as Gnana Agni. It is not water of consciousness, it is a fire of consciousness. Gnana Agni. Gnana means emptiness, basically. Gnana doesn't mean knowledge. People call Vishaya Gnana. Vishaya means information. Gnana means emptiness. When you empty all the Vishaya, emptiness remains. Pure emptiness, pure nothingness. That is the real Gnana. The nothingness acts like a fire. It melts all the patterns. It burns all patterns. It is also called a Chidagni. Chit means mind. The mind has to be on fire. It has to be melted. It has to be burnt. The Chidagni turns into Gnana, nothingness or emptiness. The portal of entry into the unknown is this emptiness, this nothingness. When you cultivate the habit of staying calmer, 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 and finally empty, yes, now you had entered the unknown. It is vast, adventurous, thrilling. The master's psyche is rooted in this unknown. The common man is centered in his thoughts and emotions, but the wise man is centered in his consciousness. The wise man is centered in the unknown. You be centered in your unknown. You be rooted in your unknown. Understand, identify the unknown, and get rooted into it. You are on the path of mastery. I welcome some questions, Rajshekhar, now, and others as well.
Okay, sir. So friends, please raise your hand. I'll ask you one after other. So Gayatri ji want to ask a question to start with.
Please go ahead.
Hi, hi, sir. Sir, I've just started meditation, and it's only been 20 days, so the wordings might not be appropriate. Please excuse me for anything. So the question that I have is, I heard that we all have come from the universe conscious, and we all the souls have been originated from that universe consciousness, which means that each and every individual soul has the same characteristic properties of the universal consciousness. Once they have come to the earth, my question and the doubt I have is what went wrong? Some gurus are enlightened already, and some are still struggling to do meditation to calm their mind even for 10 minutes. What went wrong and why is the question that I have.
Yeah. You mean why some people are unable to meditate and why some people are able to meditate? You mean that?
Yeah, so see, if every soul has same characteristics and properties, all of them should have enlightened at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So here, what we have to understand is, the beginning of my talk, I told the purpose of any human being. Every human being has a purpose which has to be understood like this. First, we have to forget everything and recall what is forgotten. To recall what is forgotten is the path of spirituality, or the path of going within, or the path of meditation, or the path of mastery. Most of the human beings, including the enlightened ones, the so-called enlightened ones like Mahavir Jain, Gautama Buddha, Socrates, Confucius, Lao Tzu, Ramana Maharshi, Osho, everybody have forgotten. Because the earthly vibes are so strong. This forgetfulness is called as Maya. And once a person is sucked into Maya, a very few people who are truly adventurous to explore the unknown wake up. Wake up. They subconsciously understand that this is not the real way of life. There is something beyond. When they get that thought, they start exploring themselves. When the nature of soul is similar and the same, the clouds which are engulfing the soul are not same and similar. The clouds which are engulfing the soul are not same and similar. These clouds are called as the minds. There are some rotten minds. There are some very rigid minds, metallic minds. There are some minds which are like the rock of Gibraltar, very strong, very powerful, very dense. How much time it takes to melt this rock of Gibraltar? How much time it takes to melt this metallic minds? Through many lives, some people made their minds metallic. It takes a lot of time to make it elastic, flexible, easy.
Yes, sir. Understood. Yeah.
And many minds are rotten, stinking, with very wicked thoughts, like Anguli Mala, like Valmiki, like Ravana. It takes many lifetimes, rather, to get into their center, to identify at least there is something called as center of consciousness. Once they understand the nature of all the masters is same, because they are living in consciousness, centered consciousness. Once they get rooted into their center, once they are rooted into their unknown, the nature of consciousness is absolutely same, no difference at all. But the clouds which surround the soul, which are otherwise called as mind, it is different. Depending upon the density and the metallic nature of their own individual minds, which is absolutely idiosyncratic in nature, which is absolutely customized, individualized, unique to that person, the path of mastery appears to be different. But once you arrive, we are all one. There's no difference. The water in Kaveri, the water in Godavari, the water in Ganga, the water in Danube, the water in Yellow River, the river Nile, same. H2O. Two atoms of hydrogen, one atom of oxygen. That's all. Simple. Before that, different.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
So Priya Jain, you want to ask?
Hello. Hello.
Please, go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for giving me chance. Yes. Again, I am attending your session, and your excellence, sir. Your energy works on my head like I feel almost emptiness, but still I dare to ask the question. Uh, actually, what you said about you have given the description of warrior, like what he thinks and how they behave. Honestly, sir, when I get awakened, just 1 year before, the moment I get awakened, I feel like I'm a warrior, and there is a war, but I never knew that the who is the enemy. And another thing is, sir, thank you very much. Just because of you, I'm able to recognize myself. I used to see myself as a self pity, because I used to see, if I did any mistake, I used to, oh, why this happened to me? I mean, how come I do that? What the thought? And all this thing, and everybody is saying that, yeah, you are different kind of person. You are not a normal kind of personality. So thank you very much, sir. You cleared my, I mean, that is a thought of mine which is against of me. My question is, sir, actually, since few days I'm feeling like I can read the silence, but what is the next? I'm not able to understand, because I'm very new, just 1 year in the spirituality. But something is, something is attracting me into the silence, and there is beyond something that. But what is that? I mean, could you please explain? Most of the time in a day, I feel silence, complete silence. reading a silence, decoding the silence, this is coming into mind, but I'm not very much clear about what is that exactly saying me.
Please frame in one line your question.
Oh, sorry, sir, sorry.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, since few days, I'm now completely into the silence, not in a sauna, but silence of mind. Okay, something is attracting when my mind went into the silence that decoded and understand it. But what is the exact thing I'm feeling? Can you please explain? Because I know you know it. I mean, you have gone through all these stages. So you are the only one person that who can give me the path that what is the beyond the silence. That is my question. What is beyond zero thought? Then come to the silence, and then again, what is that which is attracting me?
See, what happens is lockdown period really troubling or really enjoyable? For some, it is a misery. It is a big trouble. It is just like confinement in a jail. For some people, it is really enjoyable because no work, no activity. They are very happy, and they are able to meditate for a long time. They are ready to read a lot of books. So, how you see this period is up to oneself. A lot of individual variations are there. Similarly, a person who dives in and experience episodes of silence periodically, intermittently, and again coming out, becoming a victim of one's stray thoughts, losing oneself in the superficial consciousness or wakeful consciousness, or identifying oneself with only the known but not the unknown, loses the silence. Silence appears to be little numbing and unusual, maybe boring, but as I told, silence is the entry portal into the unknown. Once you are really silent, absolutely alone, inside, burning like fire of consciousness, this silence is indescribable, absolutely beautiful. There is no euphoria when you are silent like this. There is no excitement when you are silent like this. You are deeply calm. Even the thought that you are silent doesn't come to you. Even the thought that you are not thinking at all doesn't come to you. When Buddha got enlightened under a Bodhi tree, people say he sat for 49 days at a stretch, closed eyes, without food and water, but he was very energetic. The known phenomena cannot explain all these things. The phenomena of unknown can only be a repertory or source of all these explanations. What next after silence is deeper silence, deeper and deeper silence. There is size for the fire, small spark, a big fire, bigger fire, very big fire, vast fires. The fire of consciousness has to be awakened to melt all the patterns. Do you know there are certain methods in the world which are employed to become increasingly silent by way of recapitulation. In Himalayas, there are certain caves which are modified for these hermits, for these saints. There, the novice has to enter at a certain stage of evolution with the help of his master. He sits there for 11 months at a stretch. Once a day, food will be thrown into the cave and it is totally dark. The arrangements for excrements is made already inside the cave, and he's absolutely all alone. There is no one to talk. The doors of the cave will not be opened for 11 months. So what he will do inside the cave for 11 months is he sits quiet, and in this quietude he keeps on observing all types of stray thoughts, all types, absolutely all, right from his childhood, the days of youth, the present days, all his feelings, beliefs, even the thoughts of the previous lives. They slowly come to the surface. He keeps on watching. The very watchfulness makes these thoughts erased. And he also finds something. A certain group of thoughts has got a common primordial thought, a common root thought. From this root thought, 10 types of ramifications of thoughts emerge. He goes down to the root thought, primordial thought. And once he reaches the primordial thought, all the ramifications of different types of this thought shoot system is totally wiped off. And he becomes clean, empty. For 11 months period, he does this cleaning process, the purification process, the mental purification, the psycho-emotional purification. To get rooted in his consciousness deep down, like a root of banyan tree, strong and deeply rooted. The root of bamboo tree, deep, strong. In the Mayan civilizations as well, the Mexican shamans, the novice or the warrior is asked to climb a big tree where all the arrangements are made on the tree, top of the tree. For 6 months period, he is allowed to recapitulate, recall every incidents of life, every person he meets, and all the psycho-emotional chemistry that happened right from his childhood, from day one of his birth. It happens. It appears to be impossible or very, very difficult to go into the day one of one's life. But once you go slowly deep into yourself, like onion layers are cleared one by one, you go into your core. If a person unable to complete this recapitulation process, the cleaning process, he will not be given any grace period like 1 month or 2 months more. The cycle repeats another 6 months. He has to become empty finally. The same system is also observed in Tibetan Buddhism. He is kept in a cave. They call it a hermit cell, the cell of. These are the schools of thought where the novice is seriously allowed to enter into the recapitulation process, the conscious recalling process. For many people, it would appear to be very surprising if I make a statement like this. Forgetfulness is a conscious phenomena. Is it possible for anyone to consciously forget anything? It appears to be ironical. But This is the way it happens. Forgetfulness in spiritual reality is a conscious phenomenon. With increasing time, many people forget many things, but that is not actual forgetfulness. We forget so many things, good and bad. That's the reason why in social reality we say time heals, but the scars remain. The wounds appear to be healed, but the scars remain. They won't get healed. They will be healed when all these wounds, all the traumas, all these scars are brought to the surface in front of the eyes, right under your nose. Consciously, many things you don't want to look into yourself because they're so bad, so energy draining, so much irritating, so much fearful, so much traumatizing to recall, to relive those thoughts. But still, when everything is brought to the conscious eye, believe it will be emptied. This emptiness is called as the conscious forgetfulness. In fact, forgetfulness itself is very conscious phenomena because you are consciously letting go by exhalation, by exhaling all the thoughts of the head into the hara. So beyond silence, there will be much more silence, a deeper silence, a cosmic silence. And this is in Sanskrit, it is called a wood, ud, yud, wood. Wood means deep silence. A person has to be a master of wood. Wood Gita means voice of silence. Gita means voice. Gai means voice. Gita came from word Gai, which means voice. Wood Gita means voice of silence. When you speak from your core of consciousness, that becomes truth. Truth is nothing but the voice of silence. Very precious. Silence, by definition, means deep silence. There is nothing like less silence, deeper silence. It is not like that. Though I'm speaking for your convenience, but that is not like that. It is not a step ladder way. Level 1 silence, level 2 silence. No. Silence itself means utter silence, pin drop silence, absolute silence. Nothing but silence. It has to be understood that way. When you're rooted in your silence, the worldly activities all can be taken up in a different way. The ability to shift your frequency as per the need, you master that. In some of my talks, I was quoting Swami Vedabharati, a wonderful master, a person who lived with Swami Rama for 55 years, who learned Italian language overnight without meeting an Italian person, without reading Italian book, without going to Italy. Just like that, he aligned with language of Italian and he learned it. I asked him, sir, apart from Swami Rama, who is one great enlightened master you met? Without taking much time, immediately, spontaneously, he told, one, Goda Gadiwala in Delhi. You know Goda Gadiwala? One who runs this horse. How do you say in English, Rajshekhar? Horse cart. Yeah.
Horse
One
riding.
who runs horse cart in Connaught Place. You know Connaught Place in Delhi, the most busy area, the market area of Delhi. He is a regular horseman who takes the person from one place to another place, leading a very common, simple life. He works for 7 to 8 hours, very enlightened, and he placed his position on par with Swami Rama. He told me. He may not be having a lot of fanfare. He's not known that he's a master. Even his family members do not know that he is a great master. But he is on par with Swami Rama. There are certain people like this. Even the family members do not know. When Lahir Mahashaya was enlightened, his wife and family members do not know that he's enlightened. It took a lot of time for them that he's a different man, he's an enlightened man. Many a time you can't understand them because their outer lives are quite common, usual, normal. There's nothing special about anything. But inside, they're different. They're centered. They're rooted in their core of consciousness, not willing to come out. They're centered in their deep silence, vast silence. That's the real property of soul. In fact, the only property of soul. Silence, nothingness. When you're nothing, you're everything. You identify with the cosmos. Everything that is identified with you. You identified with everything that is. This is otherwise called as Brahma Sadbhavana. Sat means truth. Bhavana means feeling. Brahma means consciousness. The feeling that you are consciousness. Consciousness is ever pervading everywhere. When you identify with that, everything is one. Not just we all one. Everything is one. The rock, plant, animal, space, air, all elements, human beings, other planets, all frequencies. So, once you get into the state of silence, stay. Getting connected to one's inner silence is the beginning step. But staying in that silence forever is everything. As and when you get strayed out of the center, you come back. You get centripetalized every time you move out from center to periphery. As and when you move out, take care to get converged. Take care to move radially inside yourself. Make sure that you are centered in your emptiness, in your silence. That is what is called sadhana, spiritual sadhana. Every time you move out, move within consciously. Moving out is unconscious act. Converging within is always a conscious phenomenon. It needs consciousness. Without your knowledge, you cannot move within. Without your knowledge, you can't get converged. Moving within is absolute conscious phenomena. This is an attribute which has to be mastered, which has to be cultivated. And I told the meaning of cultivation, self-cultivation. There is only one cultivation in spiritual reality. It is this. Yeah.
Wonderful, sir. Awesome. I mean, you just, you save me, you save my soul because this exactly thing is happening to me. I'm in this process that I'm rejecting all the thoughts, that conscious thoughts coming into mind. And yes, you are allowed me to step one step ahead in my spiritual journey. Thanks, sir. And gratitude, lots of gratitude. It's a big step in my whole Dharma, sir. It's a big step. I can't explain it in words. It's a primordial
Yeah.
joy. Thank you very
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Next
Yes,
one, Satya Chudsetti. Satyaji, do you want to talk? Do you want to ask a question or shall I read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm going to read it. His question is, my practice of eliminating mind is going on very well while sitting for meditation or in day-to-day activities. You say practice is 24 hours affair. How can I utilize my sleep for the practice?
So utilizing your sleep for practice. Nice. See, we sleep for a certain period of the day or night, depending upon when we work. Some people are day watchmen, like most of the people among us. Some people are night watchmen. Maybe they work in the night, right? Because of shifts and all. Most of the people, unfortunately, do not know how to sleep. They are not exploiting the sleep hours. They're not trying to exploit or convert sleep as a spiritual sadhana. Most of the people just lie down, they allow their body lie like a log on the bed, and they call it sleep. This is a common man's way. Wise man's way is different. Let me explain. Let me take it as a chance to explain all these things. You observe a child, any child, during the wakeful state, the normal daily activity, once he opens the eyes, quickly moves into the social environment, he's into a lot of games, maybe studies. The school goer goes to school, comes back, is active, energetic, inside very calm, always exploring different things. But when we sleeps, observe his quality of sleep, very deep. Do you expect any adult having that type of sleep, a child sleep? The more you are conscious during wakeful hours, the more sleep consciousness will be there during sleep hours. The more you are alert in Jagruta state, wakeful state, the more you are alert in Sushupta state or Swapna state. Scientifically, there is something called as REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. That comes every 90 minutes of sleep hours. Periodically, it comes every 90 minutes approximately. During the rapid eye movement sleep, which lasts for 90 seconds duration, which stays for 90 seconds, the skeletal muscles are totally relaxed, absolutely relaxed. This is the real Sushupta state. During the 8 hours or 6 hours or 4 hours of sleep, the duration of REM sleep is the only duration which makes you really restful. The rest of the period, you are, because you are not conscious in wakeful hours, you are the same old rotten guy, even when you are sleeping with closed eyes. The mind is still working. It is not really into Sushupta state. The deep Sushumna consciousness has not taken over. The altered consciousness has not taken over deeply. Because he's not really conscious during wakeful hours, he's not really conscious in Sushupta hour also. So, the best way of sleeping is you sleep for 4 hours or 5 hours in the night at a stretch. Have a power nap, afternoon or forenoon, whatever. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, no problem. Duration doesn't matter. But you will get 90 seconds of REM sleep. That's why we call this power nap. Totally relaxed. This 90 seconds is the key. And As I told twice or thrice just now in these 5 minutes, the more you are good during wakeful consciousness, the same attribute will be carried down during sleep hours. The so-called deep sleep is nothing but the deep altered consciousness, the deep sushupta consciousness, the deep swapna consciousness. Just because people are not deeper in wakeful consciousness, they're not really deeper in swapna or sushupna consciousness. The reason why they're not coming up with real restfulness, they're unable to convert sleep into a spiritual sadhana. Converting sleep into spiritual sadhana means the quality of the sushupta, the quality of sleep consciousness must be good. The way quality of wakeful consciousness is good. That is what is meant by conversion of sleep into a spiritual sadhana. In fact, the real growth of physical body, real organization of all the wakeful, conscious, spiritual sadhana in daytime, call it meditation or any activity, everything gets organized only during sleep, sushupta and swapna consciousness. The mind doesn't organize itself in wakeful consciousness. It requires altered frequency, otherwise technically called as sushupta or swapna. Swapna means deep consciousness. Sushupta is the REM consciousness. All the growth hormone or the hormones which are absolutely necessary for human intelligence, the inner calm like melatonin, all the neurotransmitter agents, dopamine related agents, serotonin, all these neurotransmitters which are supposed to be pacifiers, they all are produced only during sleep to give us a real calm. The self organizational process happens only during sleep. When the sleep is allowed the way it has to be done, the self organizational process becomes very much deeper. What you explore during your wakeful consciousness becomes deeply remembered, registered, and organized. Not the way mind gets patternized, it's not that way. Everything is organized. What you know, what you less know, what you do not know, what you do not want to know, everything is organized. And you are available to the cosmic intelligence more during sleep than wakeful consciousness, especially for the novice, especially for the beginner, the arihant, the practitioner, the sadhak. So long hours of sleep, even though you are not really sleepy, is tamas, laziness, inertness, lethargy. And all the inventions and discoveries that are happened in the mankind have emerged because of this sleep consciousness. Because everything superficial gets organized, the deeper aspect of oneself gets awakened. I was giving an example, some examples of dream consciousness or the sushupta consciousness a few weeks ago. I would like to give one example right now. It is a repetition of what I said. You all know sewing machine. Sewing machine was invented by a scientist called as Elias Howe. Elias Howe was born in a family of textile industry. manual textile industry. When sewing machine was not invented, all the machinery was not invented, everything was manual. The thread has to go into the eyelet of the needle, and they used to knit on a daily basis. The entire family members, their neighborhood, and all the co-workers, they sit together and keep on knitting. They're into the mechanics of tapestry. And many a time, their fingers used to get injured, infected, sometimes amputated, loss of work hours, loss of income. So he wanted to invent a mission which doesn't injure, which doesn't traumatize. He tried his best to invent a certain mission which is very helpful, but very futile and abortive. He could not do it. One day, he gave up all his efforts, all his pursuits. He became empty. He became really relaxed and slept. He got a dream, a beautiful dream, a nightmare, in fact, a wonderful dream, a memorable dream, wherein a group of barbarians were chasing him with all spears in his hands, with many types of weapons in their hands. And he was alone, running for life. At one point, he fell down in supine position, and the leader of the group lifted his spear and he wanted to pierce into his chest. When he was about to pierce that spear into his body, he saw a hole in the tip of the spear, and he got up. What remained, what made him think is the hole in the end of the spear, the sharp point of the spear. In routine conventional needles, the eyelet is on the blunt side and never on the sharp side, the pointed end of the needle. So he put a hole in the pointed side of the needle, and that's how sewing machine came into existence. Because he's a scientist chasing after invention of a mission which is helpful as per his wish, as per his whims and fancies, as per his desire, it manifested with the help of an idea. There are so many examples like that. You ask any scientist how he got, they all tell you strange stories, very interesting stories, very, very interesting stories. Many things happen during sleep. Because as I said, you are available to cosmos, cosmic intelligence. You are available to various masters. You are available to your friends of your previous lives. You are available to new world that opens up. We have two types of lives. That which we lead during wakeful consciousness and that which we lead in sleep consciousness. Like in wakeful consciousness, we meet our routine family members, co-workers, neighbors in our daily affairs. Similarly, we meet the denizens of other realms. We meet them regularly. We have guides there, we have mentors there, we have friends there, we have students there. We lead them in that frequency. Astral frequencies, subtle frequencies. These two lives, two different types of worlds merge into one when you do not differentiate sleep from wakeful consciousness. The same spirit, but in different frequency, is wakeful consciousness, Jagrut Avastha. The same spirit in another frequency, altered frequency, is Swapna Avastha or Sushupta Avastha. When you merge these two frequency of consciousness, the fourth dimension begins. That is called Turiya. Turiya state, Turiya consciousness. A deep silence, unfathomable silence. How you can merge these two consciousness? You don't actually merge. You are conscious of its variations. You are conscious of its frequencies, change of frequencies. When you're conscious of these two frequencies, you enter into fourth one, that is Turiya, the deeper meditative consciousness. When you experience this Turiya state, you are supposed to be called as the enlightened. All children are enlightened. They are aware of this Turiya consciousness. They cannot explain, but slowly they are sucked into the world of idiots, the adult world. All the children are made to think the way adults think. All the children are trained to think the adult way. The word training exists only in social reality. The word training doesn't exist in spiritual reality. Training is actually meant for dogs. This is a statement given by Lahir Mashai. Training is meant for dogs. The way you domesticate your dog, your pet. Tommy, shake hand please. Tommy, lie down. Sleep. Jump. Fetch. We train the dogs. We program them. Similarly, we program our children. We program our family members. We program everyone we meet with. We learn different types of softwares when you're IT industry, different types of skills and abilities, talents, as per different professions. Training exists. The training has a structure. It is systematic. It is sequential, one after other. In the world of spiritual reality, this approach doesn't exist. The word training doesn't exist in spirituality. Awakening exists. Awakening to truth. The truth is merging these two types of consciousness, the wakeful and sleep. You are that common entity which is experiencing the wakeful consciousness, the sleep and sushupta consciousness. When you merge and be conscious of these variations, you explore the Turiya, the fourth dimensional consciousness. This is awakening. There is no training. No one can train you. Spirituality cannot be taught the way we teach IT, the way we teach surgery, the way we teach so many lessons of world. Spirituality cannot be taught that way. Meditation cannot be taught. How can you teach meditation? It is not possible. Meditation method can be introduced. Introduced, cannot be taught. Again, a method can be told verbally. For everything, we need linguistics, some language, the sound. Because we are not telepathic beings. We need sound for everything. Otherwise, we can't understand. We are programmed. Our minds are programmed in terms of languages, neuro-linguistic programming, known languages. So, neither meditation nor spirituality or anything related to spiritual reality cannot be taught. They can be talked about the way I'm doing now, but they cannot be taught. They can be introduced. We can talk about so many things. You have to awaken yourself. Self-mastery alone exists. You have to be the master of life, your life. How you can be master of your life? By way of being yourself totally. Without this influences of the so-called spiritually wise, no influence of any spiritual master on you, all these things again prove to be obstacles, hindrances of various sorts. In the beginning, okay, fine, but over a period of time, you should be connected with yourself. Once you close your eyes, you alone exist in this world. What is inside when you close your eyes? The outside world is not existing. It is dead. Your consciousness alone can be perceivable. Nothing else can be perceivable. Once you close your eyes, your journey begins. That is the spiritual journey. Exploring layer by layer is always a big adventure. Every time you understand that you are an idiot, one layer of stupidity goes off. Every time you become conscious of so many unaware things you have done in your life, a layer of stupidity goes off. A layer of fear is experienced, recalled, relived. One layer of stupidity, layer by layer, peels off. And when you reach the center, you have become yourself. You have become a master of your life. See those things which you do not want to see in yourself. Always be enthusiastic to see the dark side of you, because that is also you, unexplored part of you. In fact, that is most important than what is visible. Be ready to explore, experience the darker side of you, which you do not want to see, which you do not want to explore. See that. In that exist the doors into the unknown. The door exists there only. There is no other door. That is the only door. You may be fearful to see the darker side. You may feel very clumsy, cluttered, really hate to see, experience the darker side of you, but still do it. And experience the grand opening. The Satori happens. Everything will be disclosed. So, sleep consciousness, wakeful consciousness, they need to be understood properly. Once you understood, the merging of these two altered frequencies happen to enter into Turiya. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your great explanation. Why I ask this question is that, sir, usually I get sleep, deep sleep in just 1 minute like that. Usually, that is my regular thing. But while I am focusing on my Hara while sleeping before getting into sleep, that time my sleep is getting disturbed. For last 1 year like that, I am observing that. That is the reason. Is there anything else to be done before sleep, or that's the reason I asked?
Okay. Be more wakeful during waking hours, and you will understand all these things during sleep hours.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, that is the only way.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next one, Tirupati Reddy, sir. Dr. Gar, please.
Good evening, sir. So, is it audible, sir?
Yeah, yes, please go ahead.
How should we prepare ourselves to live life from moment to moment, let go of life by surrendering to the nature or what we call unknown source, which reveals or unfold things by nature or unknown source itself?
Please repeat.
How should we prepare ourselves to live life from moment to moment? That means surrendering to the nature or unknown source, which reveals or unfolds things by the nature itself. How should we live? Without any fear or insecurity, let go of the life. How should we prepare ourselves for that?
Yeah.
Clear, sir?
Yeah. See, how do you prepare yourself when you move into a forest? How do you prepare? It is only mental preparation first. The first preparation is be ready, because anything can happen anytime. Rule number one is be ready, because anything can happen anytime. Second thing is you should carry certain weapons. When disaster strikes in the form of an animal or any untoward experience happens, your weapons must be ready. These are the two basic preparations when you are a hunter. Similarly, in the routine worldly life, you should be ready for any situation, because anything can happen anytime. And as I told, the thoughts which emerge in the mind cannot be, should not be taken casually. Everything is a serious phenomena in the inner journey. You focus light on every which thought. There's nothing like smaller thought, bigger thought. Thought is a thought. When you put light on that, when you focus on that, when you illuminate, they become more conscious and you move into the root of the thoughts. Why certain thought is coming repeatedly? Why certain group of thoughts are coming repeatedly? As I told you, you move into the root of this chain of thoughts. That is what is called preparation. And your weapons must be ready. As I told, you have certain weapons. First weapon is your commitment. Your commitment for your life. You cannot take your life easily. It is very precious. Your existence in the physical world is very, very, very precious. Matchless price we have. You are not a commodity which can be priced. You don't have a price tag. You are priceless. Because we have a priceless existence, you also need to develop certain weapons. This thing is commitment. Commitment for your life. Commitment for your inner journey. Commitment to be yourself. The another weapon is inner ease. I was speaking elaborately on last Sunday. Inner ease. You must be easy with yourself. No resistance inside. The more resistance we have inside, focus on that. The resistance ceases. You don't get gravitated. You feel untethered. You come out of all the chains that are pulling you down. Your readiness for life, your ability to hone the skills, otherwise called as your weapons, be it commitment, be it inner ease, keep your weapons ready. Then only moment to moment living can happen. And meditation hours need to be understood in a different way. Most of the people, when they are into the doing aspects of meditation, for many people, meditation is something you do because they use those sentence like this: I did meditation today for 1 hour in the morning. This is how people speak. It is not doing, it's spending time for yourself. You don't do anything. When you meditate, you don't do anything. It cannot be called as an activity the way you do in social reality, the way you do in your regular routine life. It is a process of becoming, a process of unfolding. It is a process of becoming quieter and quieter, calmer and calmer. Still, the quietness slowly leads to stillness. Once you experience stillness, you stay centered in stillness. This is the only way. And when you sit for meditation, don't sit for only one time of the day or night. Multiple times you sit. Like you do namaz 5 times a day. Short intervals, 5 minutes, even 5 minutes every 2 hours. If you have more time inclination, able to sit for a long time, maybe 10 minutes every time, but not less than 5 minutes. But this 5 minutes also very energizing. It makes you empty. When you sit for 5 short intervals with one period longer, maybe half an hour, maybe 1 hour, maybe 20 minutes, little longer. No rules again. It is not like morning walk, 45 minutes of walk every day. No. Depending upon everyday variations, you must allow yourself, not by rules, but by inclination, but by experiment. When you break it into 5 times, the whole day and night appears to be like the whole day sadhana. When you sit for meditation, the way you do morning walk and feel that I've done my meditation today, leaves you unfulfilled. And you go against the understanding that spiritual sadhana is 24 into 7 affair. Frequent intervals of silence are required. Frequent intervals of silence are required to feel and experience the stillness of consciousness, the stillness of your very being. This stillness is called as Hara. The center of this stillness is called as the Hara. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, sir, next question. Jyoti Taneja, I think she asked, people say if we have an enlightened being or a living guru in your life, he will make you let your old self go because he performs an operation on you called the egoptomy. My question is egoptomy the same as seeing the dark side of you, of yourself? That means you don't require a guru, whereas it is said, Guru bina gnan nahi.
Okay. See, yeah, a teacher, a guide, a guru, whatever you call it, is required, because going within, which we are calling it as an inner journey or journey of life, or fulfilling one's purpose of physical existence, a guide is really required for a few reasons. First reason is to help you stay undistracted, because in our daily routines there are so many distractions because of our conditioned robotic thinking, robotic living. We have become eternal victims of our own stray thoughts, our own stream of thoughts. We are lost in our stream of thoughts, in fact, most of the humans. A guru helps you become aware that there is something called a stillness inside, and you would explore that. He is there to poke you, remind you. His only job is a constant reminder. He rings the bell. He rings the bell every time. He reminds you, you are not this, you are something else. He keeps you stay undistracted. That is the first advantage of having a guru or guide, whatever you call it. Second thing is, he keeps on talking about only one thing, becoming silent inside, nothing else. He doesn't talk about business. He doesn't talk about any other arts and sciences. Doesn't talk about politics. Doesn't talk about any religions and rituals. He talks about only one thing, that is stillness. He talks about only one thing, awakening. Nothing else. He doesn't talk about anything. Because he doesn't talk about anything, that becomes a very powerful reminder for you. Having a person who continuously reminds is always a fortune. Always a fortune. But to recognize this reminder, the one who is reminding you, that is everything. Most of the people do not know. Most of the people do not take him seriously. But those who take him seriously, they are really fortunate. Once you experience the inner stillness, stay there. You don't need. Just have gratitude, thankfulness, because it doesn't need anything. All his help, all his time, all his wisdom is unconditional. There are no terms and conditions. This is not business. There is no business here. Everything is unconditional. So once you are sure-footed in the path of inner journey, you don't need any guru or guide. But in the beginning stage, to have that undistracted state of affairs, you may need for a short while. I did post-graduation in general surgery. I'm trained by a group of teachers, maybe 5 teachers or 10 teachers. But what remained with me is their teachings, not them. For a period of only 3 years, I studied. Like that, many people have studied different courses of learning in your lifetimes. But what remains with us is teachings, not the teacher. Similarly, in the spiritual world, what should remain is teachings. The reminders must be remembered, not the one who reminds. Because the attachment for this guru or guide again can become an obstacle. the way in many cases happened. An element of thankfulness is more than anything once you are still inside, once you are centered. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One more question from Tui DB. Would you like to ask, or shall I read it? The question is, Corona disease is spreading now in all over the world. So according to you, what is unknown lesson or wisdom or knowledge we need to recall and learn now?
Yeah. Periodically, when the nature is under threat, nature is a supreme master. We are the humans. We the humans are just like animal kingdom and plant kingdom and mineral kingdom. This is a human kingdom. But instead of being the custodians of the other three kingdoms, we have become, instead of saviors, we have become devourers. Devourer means that one who eats on them, one who thrives on them, one who survives on them. We have looted mineral kingdom. We have destroyed plant kingdom. We are killing the animal kingdom for our denser tastes and to show that we are superior to them. A superior person safeguards. A superior person protects. A superior person stands for their safety and security. A superior person is a true custodian of the nature. Instead of becoming that, the innocent animals are killed. The earth is traumatized. Nature is too intelligent, too much forgiving, too much wise to clean itself. So, as a part of the self cleaning process, episodically, certain global maladies do arrive by way of natural calamities, by way of pandemics like this. The natural calamities can be earthquakes, floods, tsunamis, fire accidents, so many types. Similarly, pandemics like this, once upon a time, the earth was plagued. We had a disease called plague, and that disease plague has become a routine phrase in English language. Plagued by obstacles, we say. Plagued means we are arrested, we are stopped there. So many pandemics that has already seen. Periodically, we do experience this type of viruses. For self purification of Mother Earth. In spiritual reality, Earth is treated as mother, Sun is treated as father. This father and mother are very important. You can't spoil the sun. But mother is always traumatized, damaged. All the horrors of human thinking have become horrors of human life. What should be a laughter and comedy of life has become a tragedy of living. So many tragedies have already come globally. One of the tragedies we are undergoing is the coronavirus, which has emerged as a part of self-purification of Mother Earth. The theory of natural selection is not totally true. The earth selects itself, the nature selects itself. The nature wipes off the unwanted. Like we have to clear weed thoughts, the nature is ready to clear all the weed activities. Weed entities, the dark patches of consciousness living in its energy field, Earth's field, to make it ever magnificent. If not for coronavirus, some other virus will come. And this particular period of life, maybe coming 100 years, many viruses are going to emerge. To teach us basically a few things, few habits. The first habit is hygiene. Hygiene means cleanliness. Like we have gods in India, so many types of gods. In Greek mythology, there are a few gods, 16 gods. One of the gods is Asclepius. He was considered as a god. He was a great Greek philosopher. He had two daughters. The elder one is Hygeia, from whose name the word hygiene came into existence. Means the preventive aspects of life, the preventive aspects of diseases. The second is Panacea, the therapeutic aspect of life, the cleanliness, the purification part of life, clearance part of life, treatment part of life. So the hygiene, the personal hygiene, the first lesson we are going to learn is hygiene. Hygiene at different levels, not just physical level. The physical hygiene also heralds the psycho-emotional hygiene. The mind has to be cleared from clutter and confusion. Mental cleanliness, emotional cleanliness are also very important. Spiritual cleanliness is also very important. Spiritual cleanliness means removing all the unwanted belief systems, unrewarding ideologies, self-sabotaging, self-disturbing, self-damaging, self-destructive thoughts and its patterns. So hygiene at multiple levels, we are going to learn. Definitely. It may start and appear that only physical hygiene will be learned by people. Apart from physical hygiene, they will also learn the psycho-emotional and spiritual hygiene as well. The coronavirus malady, the global pandemic, has also making people understand the futility of living life and treating things as commodities. We work from 9 to 5 or more to save things. The whole of your life, you are living only to pay EMIs and save things purchase lands, increase the bank balances. For the benefit of what? For the purpose of what? What are we actually doing? For the sense of achievement. The sense of achievement gives a greater type of thrill. The sense of achievement will certainly turn into sense of alignment. That is teaching the futility of having the sense of achievement. The sense of achievement gives you a lot of excitement, not stillness, not silence, not peace. Sense of alignment gives you peace and tranquility. Sense of alignment teaches you silence, inner silence. Sense of alignment teaches you stillness, stillness in your consciousness. The sense of alignment teaches you to stay at your meridian, no x-axis, y-axis. All these pandemics, all these global maladies, they do come periodically to teach us all these things. As long as people are idiotic, this periodical purification of Mother Earth happens by way of natural calamities and this type of global maladies and pandemics. Quite common. We have drilled into the bowels of the earth. All the mines are exploited. Earth is exploited. Sand is exploited. Water is exploited. All air is exploited. We are not breathing pure air, drinking pure water. Everything is polluted. The food we eat is also polluted. Nothing is really healthy. Eating the meat of dead animals, making our beautiful tummies into graveyards. We have already become walking graveyards. Most of the people. When the situation is crossing the threshold, naturally, the understanding, the global human understanding, has to become much more aesthetic, much more deeper, much more rewarding. The sense of staying as a custodian, safeguarding the purification process of the Mother Earth has to be undertaken on a global scale. The positive forces of the earth, the positive forces of all the earth keepers, earth protectors, need to coalesce, need to adhere for the common good of the mankind. We don't want to work in tandem. We don't want to unite. Keeping our diversities and uniqueness aside. Someone said ego. Human ego is horrible. Horrible. We want credit for everything. What credit the Mother Earth is taking? What credit has taken? What credit the space, the fire, the water has taken? Human beings living in the world of sense of achievement, they want credit for everything. We don't want to work together. We all know birds of same feather flocking together. Birds of different feathers flocking together we have not experienced. Humans with diverse thinking, diverse schools of thought, diverse belief systems, diverse skin colors, diverse professions, diverse food habits, healthy food habits, of course. We all need to come on to common good. We have to create the collective Hara for Mother Earth. As we have a center of consciousness, the mankind center of consciousness is already uprooted, deviated, distracted, peripheralized. The Hara of the mankind is completely displaced. The collective positive consciousness will centralize the consciousness of mankind. That is the goal of the mankind put together. Keeping aside our individual variations, we need to, because we are all co-inhabitants of this planet Earth, we need to work together for the common good. A critical mass has to be awakened for the 750 crore population of the world. Maybe the critical mass is 100 crores. 100 crores of light beings are required. A meditative consciousness, a massive meditation consciousness has to emerge at individual level. Groups cannot be enlightened because it is a pure individualistic affair. Inner awakening is individualistic affair. Individual to individual, inner awakening has to be guided, helped. What we are doing now, we are getting awakened. The purpose of the present Zoom meeting also that. We are helping each other for inner awakening so that you too can awaken, help them out by being their guide. You cannot expect Jesus or Buddha type of figure or a Krishna type of figure or a Kalki Bhagavan, a single man governing the consciousness of mankind. That doesn't happen. It happens with the coalition of the positive forces. The coalition of the unified positive force is the only answer. That united consciousness is the only answer in the present world. Birds of different feathers, different colors, different shades need to flock together now. And if not now, when? That's what coronavirus is teaching us. But we are so slumber, slow, so sluggish, so lethargic, so idiotic. We don't want to learn. We don't want to awake. We don't feel it as a personal responsibility. To straighten oneself is the grand responsibility of every human being. Straightening oneself. Straightening myself is my prime responsibility. Straightening yourself is your prime responsibility. Spirituality is not a passion. It is a responsibility. Responsibility to fulfill your very existence, physical existence. And there is only one purpose of living here in the physical existence. Straightening yourself. Experience the stillness. Once you experience stillness, what you do outside is for common good. Once you experience stillness, you cannot do anything bad, harmful to the mankind or any other kingdoms. The critical mass has to be awakened. Awakening of this critical mass is one of the targets of the self-purification process of Mother Earth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a wonderful session today. So a lot of insights came through how to leap into unknown. There are a lot of questions like what are the nature of seed thought, those kind of questions. And we will we would like to ask you in further sessions. So due to time constraint, given time today, so
Yeah.
we
How much time we have taken today?
usually 2 hours we are giving, sir.
Oh, we have already crossed 2 hours.
Just about.
Okay. Okay. So we will meet next Sunday, same
Yes,
time.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Please.
come up with more questions and all. We will discuss and learn.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very
So
much.
thank you, sir. Raghavaji from UK. My, you would like to say something? Thank you.
Please.
Hi, sir. Thank you, sir. Your patience and then covering all the points, what are our participants are the masters asking the questions. So nicely you answered us, and that make us to more like a wisdom sharing. It is so grateful, sir, having you at this time and taking the session for us. It is really, really like a what do you call the priceless. And thanks a lot to you.
Thank you.
If you have a time, we look forward for many more sessions for
Yeah.
us.
Next Sunday we will schedule Rajshekhar.
Okay, sir. I'll talk to you. Arrange that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A pleasure, sir.
Okay.
Pleasure. Yes.
See you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.